were they thinking with that episode of What If? Because I'm gonna need them to start thinking of more episodes like that, because that was pretty damn good. What if the Avengers assembled in 1602? I just finished watching it, so you know we gotta talk about it. Quick spoiler warning, that I am gonna be recapping the entire episode and giving my honest spoiler-filled thoughts of the episode. So if you're not trying to be spoiled, make sure you drop a like, follow, but come back later because I need to hear your thoughts. So like I said from the jump, we pick up in 1602. Underwear wasn't even invented yet. Anyway, it turns out these big ass rifts are starting to happen in 1602. Loki almost gets sucked up. Hey yo, until Captain Peggy Carter saves him. But as she tries to save Hela, who is the queen in this universe, she's unable to, and her scepter falls to Thor, who's now the rightful king of this universe. And he's pretty pissed that Captain Carter did not save his sister, because this is the Peggy Carter, if you'll remember, summoned by the Scarlet Witch back in episode 5, I believe. And she was brought here to help save this universe because it's dying. But now she's on the run. I thought it was funny how she started having a conversation with the Watcher while he was narrating. Back in Thor's quarters, talking about how these rifts are basically destroying their entire land. And Thor thinks that time displaced Peggy is the reason this is happening. Wanda agrees that there's definitely someone here that isn't supposed to be here, but it's not Peggy, and she's having trouble trying to figure out who it is. And Nick Fury, being the sly devil that he is, relays that message to Peggy. You gotta keep both eyes open. So Peggy goes and visits Tony Stark, who's a genius inventor in this universe. He asks Tony how they can try to find this time traveler. He could try to trace it, but he's gonna need something super powerful like Thor's scepter. So they're gonna need someone to Ocean's 11 that shit. There's the perfect guy to do that. Rogers Hood. Steve Rogers in this universe is basically Robin Hood. Duh. And he's accompanied by Scott Lang and Bucky as always. A trio that now I need in live action. Peggy and Steve reunite. Turns out that Peggy in this universe died, so they kind of get a little cute rekindling moment until we get to business. She needs him to steal that scepter. He agrees because he thinks that his Peggy would do the same thing to try to save this universe. But then they start getting attacked by these medieval yellow jackets. And I gotta be honest, it was cool to see Steve and Peggy fighting side by side with a little medieval Ant-Man. But then they call in the Destroyer, and he destroys shit. Which is when Peggy goes to fight them, so Steve and everyone else can get out of there to go steal the scepter. And she gets captured. Me, when I say Spider-Man 2 is the best comic book movie ever. Is that the rest goal? The Watcher tries to convince Peggy to just get up out of there and leave this universe to die because he's seen millions upon millions of universes die. But Peggy says, nah, that's not what I do. I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm Peggy Carter. He breaks out and finds a very lonely individual in another cell. So she gets some guards to start shooting at the door because he doesn't want to come with her. Turns out that was a bad idea because it's the damn Hulk. Peggy starts riding the Hulk. Hey, yo! As they escape imprisonment and end up back with Tony Stark. As he shows them their invention that's gonna be able to ID the time traveler and send them back home. Rogers Hood and his merry men meet up as they hatch a plan to sneak into court disguised as other court goers until Tony gives the signal. But of course, a rift opens up inside. Scarlet Witch does everything in her power to hold it. And turns out the signal is just Hulk coming in there saying, smash, signal, signal. It was cool to see the Hulk being the Hulk. Nomad Steve and Peggy is also dope. When Steve is fighting Happy Hogan, he accidentally tears his feather and he gets pissed and turns into the Bulk. And he's angry. Meanwhile, Peggy tries to talk some sense into Thor, who now has a sword gifted to him from the King of Wakanda that's made of vibranium. As they fight, yeah, that's definitely the Red Skull, who gets washed by Steve. And this is the best friendship in the MCU, gotta be. Get some Bulk on Hulk action. Hey, yo! That is until the Hulk smashes the... And just as a juiced up Thor is about to finish things off, Tony comes in with his new device and tells Peggy to use it. He uses his little glove time stone thing and shoots it at Thor. But all it does is reveal that Rogers Hood is the man who's placed at a time. Now, for a second, I thought this was gonna be the Steve who returned the stone, but given his beard, we find out this is a Steve who fought Thanos at the end of Infinity War and hit the time stone, which caused him to come into this time period. They get another sad goodbye where she says, maybe we're happy in one universe, and you are at the end of Endgame, but everything gets corrected except Peggy's still alone. She does what a lot of alone people do, go to a bar until the good doctor shows up and says, I have a mission for you, or it's just good to see you, let's go do some what if shit. All in all, I like this episode. I just really like the moments of the Avengers working together, specifically this group, and even getting like new pairings like Scott Lang, Steve Rogers, and Bucky, Peggy and Steve fighting together, Hulk versus Bulk, like a bad version of Thor, Scarlet Witch doing Scarlet Witch shit. Like this thing had everything. Need more of it. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and as always, like and follow for more.